Hey, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Uh, I'm gonna start a series about building this Honda City Turbo Tamiya model, and yeah, I'm looking forward to building it on the channel and creating a series out of this. So these will be somewhat long format videos. Well, I don't know exactly how long they're gonna be yet. I'm just starting this. I'm new to this whole thing, so uh, we're in it together. We're all gonna learn together. So this is the unboxing. Ooh, snagged it. Uh-oh. Oh. Get rid of that. So I picked this up because I think Honda City Turbos are really cool cars, and this one came with the this thing, the Motor Champ. I think this is what it's called. Is that what it's called? I think so. It's like a foldable scooter that goes in the back of this thing, and it comes with a figurine as well. Okay, cool. Oh. That's the body. Nice. We got the wheels, the windows, oh, the little Motor Champ, and then the interior and the chassis. Cool. Got some stickers, some decals, water transfer decals, I mean. And then, oh, those are the tiniest little tires I've ever seen. Oh, what is that? I've never seen those things before. So, like a rod and two. Huh. Interested in seeing what that is for. I gotta get this manual out of here. Okay, bye my box. Alright. So, for tonight, for this video, I'm just gonna be focusing on. Oh, it went straight to the to the motor compo. That's what it's called, not a motor champ, motor compo. So, I think the first thing I want to do is focus on getting the chassis together. So I'll start at 2. Come back to this at some other point. I don't want to start there. So this is the first set I've seen where it starts with the tires. That's interesting. So yeah, I'm not painting anything either. This is just prep. I'm just like prepping to finish this first section here. So what we need, the wheels. You know, been contemplating like doing a YouTube build on a model for a while, and by no means am I an expert in this stuff. I am pretty amateur. I just find this to be very relaxing and very interesting, and I just thought I would share the process with who's ever interested in watching the process happen. So first things first, you go for C1 and C2. I wonder what's the difference. Is there a difference? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe. Let me read this. 1 second. So, something I advise when doing one of these kits is always read through the kit. Like, read through the instructions first so you have a firm understanding of how things are gonna go. Because, like, for example, it says to install the tire, like the wheel into the tire, but then it needs this little ring here to be painted. It doesn't need to, but if you want to, you can. So if you want to do that, it's better to not install those yet. So like, you make a note that you would want to do this before any of this, or, putting the wheels into the tire. I mean, you could remove it, but there's no point in doing it if it's not done. If the prep is not done, essentially. So I'm probably just gonna start with the chassis and all of these other little bits and bops down here. So we come back to the wheels. That's for another day, another episode. Put those away. Put those out of the way, and let's get the chassis. So, staples are invincible. That was a good feeling. So I got my side cutters, and yeah, I need the body. Staple there. Go away. There's a staple there. This is just one thing, right? Yes, it is. Okay, so now we cut. And yeah, there might be somebody out there who says like, "Oh, you're doing it wrong. You're cutting it the wrong way, or whatever." This is how I do it. This is just what I'm doing. This is how I find it enjoyable. This is how I'm gonna do it. So that's just all painting. This has some very interesting parts. I've never seen parts like these before. Like this bar, what's not. I'm not saying I've seen a lot of kits, but so far from what I've seen, what you want to do is just take off these little nubs off the chassis. Where were the other ones? Oh, found them. Very sneaky. Those ones are not fine enough to cut anymore. So what you could do is you could sand that, or you can use a knife to cut them down. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not like the best when it comes to like cutting things down with a knife. I'm kind of clumsy. Yeah, it's alright, I guess. I don't have the finesse to really see like that. I just went into the side. Like I kind of dug into the chassis itself, which I didn't really want to do. But it's not the end of the world. It's minor things. The minor things. You just want to do what you're doing. Just take your time, enjoy yourself. So we have some painting here to do. Oh, sorry. So we have to paint this a very interesting combination of colors. Is this a different part? What am I looking at here? No, that's the right thing. I'm sorry, it's just the top side. It's just this side, and then this bottom side. So Ep1, and it comes with a color chart. I don't know the colors of the lacquers too well, so I have to check back a lot. What was it? Ep16? No. 5. Which is semi-gloss black. Just put in brackets X18. Yes. So that's that, and then we gotta find this part here, which is, so we have B10, B11, A3. Oh, there it is. It's A5. My goodness, what's going on with me? That's 2, so it's probably on here somewhere, right? What is this? Which tree is this? Tree B. I must say, this is a fairly simple set. It's nothing too intricate. It's very minimal parts. And that's A5, right? Yes, it is A5. So, I'm gonna get this and do snippy snip. Snippy snip. Get that down there. So we need, those are B10 and B11. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Put this out of the way there. Clumsy me. Very nice. I need some like talking points to do, to talk about when I'm doing this, because I don't want to just sit here and just, have you guys watching in silence. I'd like to like talk about some stuff, think, like share my thoughts on things. Doing these kind of hobbies calms the mind and allows your imagination to be more free. You're less restricted. You're not focused on like dangers or stresses that's right in your face. To be modeling, like to be doing this, to be cutting this off of a tree and taking off the little nubs of plastic, means that you're in a very relaxed state, because this is not something that you do in a high stress kind of state. Obviously, right? Fair enough. But it's a certain level. It's like a luxury to be able to have a quiet moment where you can sit down and do something that you really enjoy, and that brings about peace and allows your brain to just wander, allows your thoughts to wander, allow you to contemplate about things and think creatively. Even if you're not executing that creativity in the moment, at least you had the idea. You were able to use your mind to think of something new, or think of something in an abstract way, or to have a moment of honesty with yourself, or a reflection of your day. Just a bit of silence from the noise in the world. So I'm going to use some 600 grit sandpaper to sand off these nubs, the little marks from molding. I'll be honest, I'm not the best at getting the like smoothness that I want. Maybe I have the wrong kind of sandpaper, or maybe I have the wrong technique, but can I get this to focus? Such a tiny part. Doesn't really focus that well when it's that close. Like, there's a little nub there I'm trying to sand down. And I'll do my best. I just give it a little bit of sanding. I should probably remove this out of the way. Put that off to the side. I hold a lot of things in my hand when I'm doing this. Like I hold at least like 2 things in one hand at a time. I don't know why I do that. Guess I'm trying to be efficient, I guess, for no reason. Like that kind of it really is a calming thing to take part in, because you need a lot of patience to really enjoy doing this kind of stuff, building figurines or working on smaller scale things. I know 1/24 isn't that small, but you really have to be patient, and you have to take your time, and you really have to be able to allow yourself to be slower than usual. And from my experiences, trying to rush through a kit to just get an end result doesn't bring about good results. And this might be obvious, right? But this is just me speaking my mind, talking to myself, and you guys just listening. If you choose to do that, stick around, then thank you. But yeah. Now, is it supposed to have a kind of a square shape to it. I don't think so. I'm just gonna be gentle. Nice little sanding. Put that off to the side. I think this needs a bit of sanding up there. You know, no one's ever gonna see this part of the shock. The top part of this nub that goes into the chassis. The alignment. What do you call this? Alignment nub? Keep bumping the camera. Yeah, nobody's gonna see that, but I just like knowing that I sounded it down. Brings me peace of mind. So, if anybody knows, or if I should even care, like these little molding lines here on the springs, I don't know how to get this to focus on this. There we go. Those little molding lines there. How do I get rid of those? Because they are so tiny. Anybody knows how to... I had to turn my mic isolation on. If anybody knows how to remove these little... what do you call these? Molding lines. What would be the best way to go about that? Those are tiny. And those bother me. I know they don't matter that much, but they bother me. They bother me a bit. A fair bit. So now this one has like pretty big nubs. So you just kind of trim these down like that. Whee. And then just give it a little sanding. A bit of sanding, just make it look nice. Let it know you care about it. It's not just something to be rushed. It's all about patience. Because if you rush through and just do something, like you say, you don't sand it, you don't prep it, you don't paint it well, and you just do it to get it done, you're gonna feel good that you got it done, but then you're gonna look back at it and say, it's not how I wanted it to be. It's not, and it's not even a matter of skill. It's just a matter that you just didn't take enough time. You didn't put in enough effort to even to get it anywhere close to what you wanted it to be. Because, you know, like if you're a novice, like an amateur like I am, I'm not perfect. I'm not an expert at this. So sometimes I know what I want, but I know that it's going to take a while for me to get there. And if I don't even put in the effort to get somewhat close to that, then I'm never going to get to where I want to be. So I have to put in the work, even though the work may not be the results I want, to even get close to getting the results I want. You have to fail doing what gets you to where you need to be in order to actually arrive there. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Because what's the point of it all if it's not what you want it to be? If this is work that comes from your hands, when you want it to be as best as it could be, as best that your abilities are able to make it. I'm trying to be like really motivational right now. Amping myself up. These are very awkward shapes to sand. Because if you do too hard, then you flatten out the roundness. I don't want to do that. See? That's alright for now. And then these little nubs on the side of the chassis. I can never really get them to go down though. I don't know why. Yeah, it's pretty flat. For the one I kind of messed up. Oh, flat part of my sandpaper. Yeah, you can see how I kind of cut into the chassis, which I did not want to do, but I'm not perfect. I made an oopie. And this one back here. That's pretty good. What'd you say? Maybe. Okay. That's those things there for the front suspension. And then what else do I need? I need this subframe. It's A3 subframe. Like an Audi A3? Where is A? That is tree B. That's A. There we go. Orientations are kind of confusing on this. A3. Yeah. Ooh, ooh. Butterfingers. That one there. That one there. Bada bing. Some people might go through the instructions and then cut out all. They cut out like everything. Oh, cut out everything from the trees. Like they would cut everything and then they would group everything as it would need to be painted. So if all of these parts need to be painted black, they would be grouped to be black, white, brown, red, whatever. I don't do that because I don't think it's as fun to do that big bulk of painting. Because I know some people want to be efficient, but for me, it's more of the journey of learning how to do this. And I like to do things page by page because it helps me to stay organized. It helps me to manage my parts and know if I've lost something or if something. It helps you to focus in more on that little that part you're working on essentially. Because you could easily just start painting everything and just be like, oh, it's whatever, everything's painted, it's good enough, and then forget about it. And I don't want to forget about it. There, this one there. Sand those knobs down. Do this a bit more. That helps. See, we're learning. We're doing things. Well, I'm learning. Pretty sure a lot of you guys watching this already are already pretty good at this. Watching me laugh like, oh, look at this noob. I saw the Honda City Turbo Kit when I went in one day to my hobby store to get some paint. You know, some semi-gloss black. And I saw it. I was like, wow, that's a really cool mod. That's like a really cool kit because it's such a niche car. It's like I don't think many people know about the Honda City turbos. I think people know about the Moto. Was it the Moto Compo more than they know about the actual car? But from what I remember, I think Honda designed the Honda City Turbo to be like a compact car that you could ride around, like drive around in the city, and then you could park in You can park anywhere essentially because the car is so small, and you use the motor combo to like go into like the inner city areas. Like if you were in Shibuya or like Tokyo, like that, and you could get around quickly because you had your little scooter, and then when it's time for you to drive back home out to the countryside, you put your motor combo in the back, and then you drive out to the country, and you do it all again tomorrow or the next week or whatever. I think that's a pretty cool idea. Uh, Cars and car manufacturers like back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, they were very creative and they were very willing to make their ideas come to life. And I feel like I believe that doesn't really happen much more nowadays in the automotive industry. I think everybody just does what works. Everybody just everybody's in it to make a profit, and rightfully so. These are major companies; they need to make profit, right? They have shareholders and customers and whatever, right? They have people to pay and all that stuff, and everybody wants to make a profit, right? Uh, but I do believe that in essence, a lot of the spirit of these companies like Toyota, Honda, Mitsubishi, oh my God, Subaru, like a lot of the soul that made these companies great is gone now. Because when you bought uh like if you've ever been in an Evo, like a Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution, like any of the generations, you know that you're in a Mitsubishi. It feels like a Mitsubishi. And a Toyota from the 90s, you know you're in a Toyota. It sounds like a Toyota. It feels like a Toyota. Build quality is like a Toyota. It feels. You feel the spirit of the car. Like if somebody threw you in the trunk blindfolded, and you like woke up, you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm in a Toyota. That's how it was, right? Like you just knew. And I don't believe there's any difference to say between like a newer Civic and a new Corolla. I believe they all feel the same. There's no more spirit in the automotive industry. There's no more soul. There's no more culture. It's all gone now. I think that's pretty sad. Okay, so we're gonna do this part next. B2 and B5. B2 and B5. Okay. Where is B? That's A. B2 and B5. Here we are. Like Toyota came out with the Mark, what is it? Mark 5 Supra or the JZ A90s? Yeah, A90s. Um, and I was really disappointed from from the first time I saw the concept car. I was like, this doesn't really feel like a Supra. It doesn't really encapsulate what a Supra is. It doesn't have that feeling to it. Like the Mark or the JZ A, the 80s and the 70s, like the Mark 3s, Mark 4s, even the Mark 1 and 2. I think because the Supers came from the Celica lineup, because it went Celica, and then you would have a trim of Celica, which was the Celica Supra, and then from the Celica Supra came about the Supra line, and then there was the Mark 1, which was like a better Celica essentially, and then the Mark 2, building on the previous generation of Supra, like every other car does, and then the Mark 3 was the Mark 3. Um, and they all kind of had the same look to them, right? They all had that wedge shape, maybe yeah, like a wedge kind of shape, and they. I'm not entirely sure if Mark 1 and 2 had inline sixes, but the Mark 3 definitely did. Uh, and and then the Mark 4 came out. Fun fact: the Mark 4 Supra was developed off of the second generation Soras. So like the Sora and the Supra share the same chassis, same suspension, same engine platform, and Toyota used the Supra, I mean the Sora, to essentially like test the Supra. And when they saw that it was like good and it performed well and everybody loved it and they loved the way it drive, I think that's when they started to release the Supras. I'm not entirely sure if that's true, but I remember reading that like a few years ago, many years ago actually, and yeah, like that generation of automotive history, or that era of automotive industry was like really, it was really amazing. Like as someone younger, looking back at that generation, it's like, man, I really wish I was born in that time period where I could have bought those cars brand new and enjoy them at their peak, like at their in their prime, essentially. Uh, but especially with like the increase in prices for older Japanese cars, it's really a bummer to know that like even owning a Supra is kind of like, it's achievable, but it's a bit absurd the prices of the car, especially knowing back in like I remember when I graduated high school in 2015, you could get a Supra out of Japan fairly cheap. I mean, fairly low miles for like 20,000 bucks, and that's like a twin turbo manual Supra. And now you see, I don't see anything less than $60,000. That's a big jump. That's a really big jump. And then they have it posted for $60,000, and they're saying it has all of these parts. It's 1,000 horsepower. It has this and that, and blah 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 blah, and all these bits and bobs and accessories. But why is it so difficult to just find a clean, stock-ish Supra for a reasonable price? I'm not saying I'm in the market to buy one right now, but it's like I really had high hopes when I was in high school to own one, and then I got into the real world and I was like, okay, that's a bit more difficult than I thought it would have been. Not saying you can't achieve your dreams, just saying you got to be a bit more realistic about how you achieve them. And yeah, that was a bummer. I remember when Skylines used to be about like you could get an R32 GTR for like, don't quote me on this, but this is what I remember seeing. You get an R32 Skyline, maybe not an R32, but like a non GTR RB25 manual 2 door R32 for about like 5 to 7 grand. I remember those days. I used to watch the auctions in Japan a lot and watch like the cars that came through and the sales and like, what they would go for, and usually that was like the price that I saw. Usually, GTRs I think back then were going for about 10, 10, $15,000, maybe. I actually don't remember much about the GTRs back then. I know they weren't as expensive as they are now. That's for sure. Um, these are not going down. What do I do? What do I do, guys? What do I do? What do I do? I think I was sounding away some details. Oops. I'm gonna try to do a little bit more of this. Oh, too deep. There really is a fine finesse here for this. A finesse I do not have. Boy. That's better, I guess. Sorry, bumped the camera again. Oh, that one was a bit too deep. Working on my finesse, guys. Working on my finesse. But yeah, um, but the thing that kept the prices down for a long time was that, you know, uh, what is it? Depreciation of things like that, like sports cars and stuff like that. Those things depreciate. And then what happened was that America got most of the cars became eligible for importation into America, and that is when things got stupid. Oh my days! Oh my God! when you when you have a large market like America, and a lot of people there want something that they can't have, as soon as they have the chance to own it, oh, they go crazy. They went crazy. The prices of everything went up across the board. They were buying Skylines before they could even import them. They were buying Skylines like 2 years in advance. Those guys are up now. They got stonks. And yeah, it must have been a wonderful time back in those days to be able to go to a Nissan dealership and buy a brand new R34 GTR. That must have been a surreal feeling. Or like walking into or driving past a dealership and seeing like, you know, the Soras come up for the first time, or watching a commercial about the new generation of Evos, or the new iteration of the Subaru, or like the WRX and the STI. Like, yeah, it must have been something like a surreal kind of feeling. And if you guys haven't picked up on it yet, I'm a huge fan of cars. I'm a big car guy. I own a 1993 Toyota Sora. It's a uh, 1J non VTI. It's a manual, 5 speed with the what was it, R154. Black interior, factory, non ABS, no fancy dash stuff except for the digital dash. It's like bare bones. I have no ABS, no traction control. Oh man, I messed that up. That's aggravating. A bit. You guys see that? I got too deep with the knife again. There we are. It worked. See? I'm gonna do my best to sound that out. Yeah, I own the Sora. I had a 240SX that was a complete nether rust bucket. I got rid of that thing after a while. I had an R32 four-door sedan Skyline. Uh, I nothing really came of that. I bought it because I wanted another car, and at the same time when I was buying that, I got an offer for the 240. I think the 240 popped up. I said to myself, "There's no way I pass up on a chance to buy a 240, right?" And I think when I was younger, it seemed like a good idea to just have the cars. But now that I'm older, I should have just got one or the other because both of those cars are gone now, and I did absolutely nothing with both of them. Wasted potential, must say, but they were cool. The RB20 in the Skyline sounded really good, and the 240, I bought it. I had a friend look at the car for me before I went and bought it, and he was like, "Yeah, it's good." It's like I trust this guy, so I went there, gave the guy the money. The car didn't run, so we had to flat tow it, which is like when you pull it with like a rope or whatever. Flat towed it to like a gas station, and I checked the dipstick, and there was a milkshake coming out of the oil pan, like on the dipstick. It was a milkshake on the dipstick. And if you don't know what that means, it means that the head gasket was blown and that coolant and oil mixed together. And I found that kind of funny that this dude didn't check something as simple as that, or maybe he did and just didn't tell me. I don't remember, but that was funny. Good times, good times. But I did. So what happened to both of those cars is I had to make a decision for what I was gonna do. It wasn't really plausible for me to have both of those cars and get both of them to be like up and operational and roadworthy. Because I was like at the time I was like 18. I was like 19, 20. I was young. I just started working as a mechanic. I didn't have much money, but I had a whole lot of passion. I'll tell you that. I had a whole lot of passion. And I what I decided to do was to get rid of the Skyline. I would sell it. I'd take that RB20 out and put it in the 240, and that was like my idea because it seemed like a really cool idea to have an RB powered 240. Um, and I think it would have been easier to maintain and to maintain and operate the 240 because parts are way more available than a Skyline in the on the side of the world, in the Western Hemisphere, like in North America area. So I took the engine out of the Skyline, put in the 240, sold the Skyline, and then I put the 240 in storage. Never touched it. I bought parts for it. I did some stuff. I installed the radiator in the cooler. I got it running. I drove the car for like one time. I did one burnout in the car. Maybe I'll upload the clip of me doing the burnout in the car. And then after that, I did nothing with the car. Life happened, and then I wasn't really able to ever get back into the groove of that thing. And then I moved, so I no longer had care of the car. I left it with my brother, and he did his own thing with that. Yeah, but that was like my story with my Nissans. But nowadays, it's not really much. There's not really much spirit left in these cars, and that makes me sad. Sorry, I went on a tangent. I went and told the story. Let's look at this. Look at the instructions. Okay, so what we have now is a conundrum, and the conundrum is that I have to paint, but that will be in the next episode. So I'll end that here for tonight. Even though I know we didn't do much, I didn't get much done, but yeah, I have these somewhat prepped. I mean, they need a bit more work, but for the most part, they're ready to go. I think all of these, for the most part, are getting painted black, so that'll be a pretty quick session. So that'll be in the next episode, painting these and then installing them onto the chassis. Oh, so we'll install these, we'll paint them, and then we'll install them next episode. Like that. Do some of that. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys.